And basically, the thing that you want to know about this is like, these are options for meal replacements. So like, if you don't want to do the whole dinner thing, maybe one night a week, this is a great option because, it's so easy. There's no cleanup involved. Maybe you have a really busy, demanding lifestyle. This is the kind of thing that'll save you because you're getting everything that you need. You're able to focus on what you need to be doing, whatever it is, whether it's for work or family obligations. Yet you're not sacrificing nutrition. In fact, you're getting more nutrition out of it. So you're upgrading your nutrition. So, definitely good to be aware that like these things are all options for any time of day. And like I said, that same story that we've been told of like, these 3 meals a day, like coffee in the morning, feeling terrible all day long, like this is just one variation of it, and it doesn't have to be the variation that you choose. I mean, you start going this route and like incorporating these really high vitamins, minerals into your system, and you'll see your life will just completely change, and you'll be able to do things more efficiently and more productively. So that's pretty much all I have to say about these, but I definitely would love to open it up if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Dean? You can't feel good if your food is not good. And that sounds kind of redundant, but I think it goes overlooked because, especially in this kind of community, being here in Sedona, we have a lot of healers, a lot of people getting work done on them, whether it's body work or emotional support kind of work. And like, I feel like people go into these modalities of healing and then they don't even address the whole food issue. And to me, food is paramount. It's what makes all of these other healing modes possible. Like for me, I'm very much into practicing yoga, the physical practice of hatha yoga as well as the meditation and pranayama practices. But I know in my path, it all started with the food. Like that had to get fixed first before I could even attempt to start doing any of these yoga poses or calming myself enough to meditate. Because when you're on, let's face it, when you're on like KFC and Coca-Cola, sit down and try to meditate, it's impossible because those foods, the subtlest parts of your food become your mind. Those foods are what's making you up. So those thoughts are extremely chaotic, they're extremely low vibrational. You're not going to make any progress, whereas this food is ennobled. It's got a much higher vibration to it, so it's going to automatically propel you into those higher states of whatever you want it to be, whether it's yoga, qigong, anything like that. Any of those higher practices, it all starts with the food. You need to get yourself into balance, you need to get mineralized, and then once you don't have those cravings and you don't have those ups and downs going, then you can delve into some of these deeper, more esoteric practices. But I would say until you've got your food in check, like start there and then go on from there. And as far as brain function goes, the way I was taught this is like basically we're all born with like Ferraris, like the top of the line, as great as you can imagine. But the whole problem is they haven't been driven. Nobody knows that they have the Ferrari. So like they've been sitting in the garage for 20 plus years. Things start to get a little rusty. The pistons aren't opening. They're kind of shut closed. So what we're doing with these superfoods and super herbs is like they're going into the system and they're starting to rev up all of these, all of the engine parts that are actually in us. So it's really quite profound when you start actually seeing that. And for me, it didn't take long. And for you guys, it won't take long either because of the fact that we have all of these amazing foods right in front of us at our fingertips. Whereas it might have taken a little longer 20 years ago when we were just trying to do it off of like kale from the health food store and like celery juice. But now when we're talking about like super herbs like reishi mushroom, chaga mushroom, ginseng, goji berry, like these things will start turning on those engines a lot quicker. And that's it. We are literally all sports cars, the best kind that you could ever imagine, but we've never been taught how to drive them. And that's just the bottom line, is that society doesn't want us to know that we have sports cars, because then it's a lot harder to control millions and millions of people driving around in sports cars as it is to like millions of people driving around in Honda Civics. So that's what I have to say about that. So the question was,
First drink?
yeah, in the latte variation with no stimulants and no caffeine and no sweeteners, why would you feel good?
No, the hot. You said.
But why would you feel the high?
Yeah.
Well, essentially you're going to feel the high because, like I was just saying, you're turning on things in your system that have been lying dormant. So like what a herb like ginseng would do is literally going to open up the valves that were just glued closed for so long, so that all of these other things can get in. And why would you feel a high? Because this is actually why what people are looking for when they're looking for highs, only no one actually told them how to get the right ones. So like, something as simple as sugar, like you'd get in a Coca-Cola, the reason why people are so drawn to that is because we're just all so desperate to feel the way that we know deep inside we should be feeling. And that's, just mineralized, balanced, in a state of homeostasis. Like I said, this is like, the Chinese call it a state of radiant health, which is like the way that we were meant to live on this planet is like in a state of just health, where we feel good, where we don't have these extreme cravings that we can't even overcome. And you get there, what's that?
Or addictions.
Or addictions, exactly.
Addicted to processed foods, they don't even know it.
Exactly, because even in processed foods, there are things in there that like literally turn off certain switches in our brain that we can't even feel that our stomachs are bloated, because there's switches in our brains that were turned off. Exactly, MSG is a great example of that. So essentially, eating like this, it makes you high, but the real high, like where it's not like this place that you go to. It's just right here. Right in front of you, and it's always been there. However, we've been blocked from it, like I said, because we don't really know how to operate these machines. And like I always say, like I love being a science experiment, because there's no funner science experiment than like experimenting on yourself, and that goes in with the let thy food be thy medicine, and you are what you eat. We're the funnest science experiment you could ever imagine, and it's right here, just experimenting with yourself, with like, get the nutrition together. And then there's also other principles of health that you want to consider alongside with that. It's like sunlight, clean water, laughter, exercise. These are kind of four principles that go along with the food, that when you start combining them all together, you can get to a place where the addictions, the cravings, they start to mellow out. Because I think everyone here, we can all on some level relate to the fact that like all of these addictions and tendencies come about because we're all looking for something, and a lot of it has to do with food and being demineralized, and a lot of it's it's what we've been sold. We never question. I grew up, somebody put Pop-Tarts in front of me and was like, this is food. I was like, okay, this is food. But then someone was, just like I'm to you, someone was like, no, that's not food. This is food. So I was like, oh, wow, yeah, this is food. So yeah, that's that. Does that kind of answer your question, Maria? Okay. And, this is just me showing you one way to do it. There's absolutely millions of ways to do it, and like maybe for you, like getting Health Force spirulina isn't your superfood right now, but maybe you live in Mexico and maybe there's like some aloe vera plants or some coconuts growing right there, and that's your superfood. Like there's so many ways to go about this, that anyone can do it. Wherever you are, whatever you have going for you, whatever your situation is, you can definitely kind of take your life into control. And stop relying on other people. Like I know for me, a big changer was like the whole getting away from like running to the doctor whenever you're sick. It's like, if I'm sick now, it's my own doing. I know exactly what I did, and I'm gonna have a couple of really great educated guesses as to how I can fix that. And like I think that's really empowering, where it's no longer this victim mentality. Like we control it. And like speaking of sickness, I've been eating this certain way, you know, like ways I've been showing you, like a super herb elixir, a smoothie in there, a salad in there, exercise, sunlight. I mean, I don't even think about the common cold. I don't, that doesn't come around me. And it's a mental state, but it's also, you gotta do certain things chemically as well, biologically, in order to ensure that these kind of things don't touch you. And yeah, you'll get there. And anyone can do this. It's very simple.